think of it almost like an alchemy, you know? So it's like the Tea Party is 3 individuals. We're kind of like musical alchemists because we're taking all of these maybe base things, primal things, but different forms of music, just constantly trying to come up with that philosopher's stone.
My name is Bill Wolichko. Welcome to the story of the Tea Party, and it's a fascinating one at that because looking back at the whole thing, a lot of words come up. I'm thinking
big, long words.
Eclectic, ambitious. Add to them.
Pretentious.
Pretentious.
Arrogant.
Drunk, sober. Intellectual, stupid.
And everything's gonna be alright tonight. Put out the candle, I'll turn out the light. Then she says, oh yeah. Is this what you want? Is this what you need?
We were almost marked to be together almost. Yeah. You know, walking down the hallway.
Misfits, mutants, X-Men.
Back in high school?
Each of us weren't really well liked by many of our classmates.
Jeff and I met right when I was in grade 1, he was in grade 2. So that's a different story altogether. But Stu and I met in grade 9, you know, the first year of high school. He didn't like me because I was talking to his girlfriend. Yeah, wasn't that it?
Some things never change.
Things change.
Always mowing the lawn.
My will must be strong to rise with a different light. My will must be long. I'm still pushing for different heights.
The 3 of us had a band together called the Jigsaw Affair. That was mostly just covers, like.
It was weird with our high school. Like being in a band was more popular than sports, I think. Like there was maybe like 40 or 50 bands. And I think we really stood out because we had a level of seriousness about us right from the beginning, I think.
We got all the gigs. We got all the dances.
Is that right, mama? Is that what you want to do? You got something to prove. Is that right, mama? You want to be on your way? Well, I've got something to say. We'll never show you the door. Please let me show you the door. I want to show you the door. Ooh, yeah. Is that right, mama? Is that what you want to be? Ooh, yeah. I said you want to be free. Is that what you want to do? Is that right, baby? I think it's still up to you. We'll never show you the door. I said, please, mama, please. I want to show you the door.
Summer 1990, Stickman sort of fell apart, and we hooked up with Jeff Burrows from Windsor. Me and Jeff were living in Toronto at the time. Just had this great 6-hour practice down at one of the Toronto warehouses down by the water there, and we just knew it was going to work. It sort of clicked like that first practice, and from then we went on and formed the Tea Party, and it's been, I don't know, almost 2 years now.
Sailing down the Styx again, without you, my love. I want to return with them. I see all my friends, they want me to join with them. They all melt away without you alone. And the river's running through my veins. Lately she don't seem the same. And I'm like he's calling out my name.
But looking back 10 years ago, there was a definite game plan, a goal.
Sure.
Was it achieved 10 years
There's an
later?
ideal.
an ideal?
Yeah.
Well, explain the two.
Well, goals are sort of, they're tangible, right? I mean, you can put parameters around them, but an ideal is something that tends to, exponentially grow upon itself, right? And I think our ideal was that we wanted to make, at some point we really wanted to achieve a unique voice in rock music, because when we started in 1993, well, our first record came out in 1993, it was Nirvana, right? It was grunge, and every other band, under the sun was trying to mimic that. And, we wanted to come from a different place. And, when your wings are wet with your influences, and trying to get them dry, it takes a little bit of time. But I think the ideal was something like The Edges of Twilight, going there, and then exponentially it just grew out from that point.
You stay silent, knowing always in time. See how this love stays divine. See how this love stays divine. You stay silent, knowing always in time. See how this love stays divine. See how this love stays divine. Sleep here, hoping, knowing always in time.
I think the desire to do something on a personal level and to make a career out of doing something that you love on such a personal level was always there. I mean, I don't think it's hard to imagine to have those types of goals when you're that young. I mean, when you're that young, it's, rock and roll forever and just, playing the next gig. Whereas when you get to the point when, by the time we were doing the first album, that's when you try to develop, or put into motion these goals and ideals that, Jeff was speaking of.
Silence swimming in a pool of dreams, beneath its depths forgotten streams, above the city of the evening star, behind its walls the grand bazaar. As she walks through its endless maze, cursing those who mistrust her ways. Please love her no matter what she sees, tell my love will come back to me.
I think we have so many things at our disposal. That's one thing we tried to do when we started the band, is not put parameters on what people will perceive the Tea Party to be. So we can do anything from, very softer, more reflective songs rather, to the hardest songs, to world music songs. There's so much under all those umbrellas that we can cover still. We're really comfortable with the palette that we have to paint with. So.
It's a painting that has so many different layers, and we just keep discovering new colors, putting new colors on.
In the wisps of the winds blow with the sticks again. The river runs red, and I'm left alone. And the river's running through my veins. Lately she don't seem the same, and the blood keeps calling out my name. And the river's running,
Philosophically, I think we think the only way to push this thing we call rock music forward, or new music, or alternative music, right, is when Western musicians start again interpreting various cultures, other cultures.
sister, walk through these fields of delight. I want you to know desperation's the tenderest trap. So gently you go. What will it take, sister, awake? Sister, awake.
We had the opportunity to collect these various instruments that we've always been influenced by over the years, and within the different types of music that we've loved, right? So with that collection of instruments, a lot of the songs, the compositions that we collected on the road, the acoustic sketches, seemed to call for a more authentic approach, like songs like Sister Awake or Inanna or whatever the case. So we decided to interpret these instruments in our own way, much the same as if an African musician or an Eastern musician would pick up a banjo for the first time, whatever the case, right? We've decided to interpret the instruments themselves, as opposed to another approach would be to work with musicians that play those instruments, right? But we thought the innocence that would come out of this interpretation would give us something that would be unique and personal to ourselves, right?
She don't know. Please stop her pain. I think she's coming down again. I hear the rain. She's coming down again. I hear the rain.
And we know that the people who appreciate our music know that we're basically using these instruments as tools. I mean, they are, in fact, tools used to make music, and that's basically what we're doing. And I think people understand and realize that we're not trying to, exploit anything or anything along those lines. Just basically using these instruments as tools and as color on the songs that we write. And
I must leave you tonight, my love. Remain so faithfully. I must go off to war, my dear. The king's awaits me. It's starting to change now for the better, but over the last couple of years, I saw a lot of bands coming up in Canada trying to emulate, what was on the cover of Spin magazine in America. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just think that we've got a really unique situation here, a vantage point of looking at what's going on in America, looking at what's going on in England, and, being like alchemists and bringing it all together. And I don't know. I mean, in the beginning we were accused of copying different things, which we've shed now. But I'd like to see bands, just stay true to their heart and not worry about trends or just trying to make music just for the sake of success. Make it for your soul, man. Make it for the sake of art. So why must you love this man? He is your brother. This is easy to understand. My son, there is no other. I cannot pretend to love this man like my father.
Basic mandates and concepts of this band, and one of them would be to break down stereotypes. One would be to always ask questions, and
The courage of your own convictions to follow through with something you really believe in, regardless of negative feedback or whatever.
everyone's anxious to criticize, the band on many fronts.
But ambitious can also be a negative thing because to some people it does turn them off.
Turn him off? I wouldn't, I've never been that type of person. When I see artistry that's, filled with integrity and that type of ambition. I mean, there's ambition that becomes self-indulgent, right? I don't think that's where this band's coming from. Actually, I'm quite sure of it. We still believe in the moments in a song, that connection with the listener. We're the furthest thing away from progressive rock. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But
It's how we stay alive, how we stay awake, mentally and everything. Like, we don't fall asleep at the wheel. We're constantly challenging ourselves. Like, we could go back and try and rehash what we've done in the past and take it easy for an album, but that's not our goal. I mean, we thrive off learning new instruments, off exploring new sound textures, etc.
I roll back the stone just to see what I'm missing. Glimpses of grandeur now faced with defeat. I've waited so long. I've waited so long. I've waited. So.
But why is it the Tea Party, this is your quote, is considered sort of the black sheep of the Canadian music industry?
Because we do things by our own rules, Our situation, especially in this country, is very unique, with me producing the records, and, EMI has always been they've been very passionate about this band to the point where they know pretty much to, leave us to our own devices, and, chances are it's going to come through. I mean, it was never about, radio or anything like that until, a fluke like Heaven Coming Down happened.
They've witnessed the times you've gone astray. And whose fault now you're thinking? There's nothing to prove.
We've always had people buying the records due to the fact of the touring schedule, and that's how we basically sold our albums. And that's why I think we've been in the record company's favor.
I think she's coming out again. Are you ready? She's coming down again. Are you ready?
In the industry's favor, so far as journalists and critics, it never satisfied them just with the album alone or with the videos, and usually it took the live show to turn people on, and that's how we basically sold the album. So I mean, our album sales haven't really increased even with the quote-unquote hit. So
Forever, we were the day parted on radio.
Yeah.
That's when you have a song that's too heavy for average commuters. Not, they listen to it, they might crash the car or something.
Temptation.
Drowning in the sea of rage, I taste the embrace.
We take our music seriously.
We take our lives very seriously as well, so that's reflective in what we do. I mean, there's a point now where I think there's an oversaturation of, apathetic pop music, in the world today, right? And so, but there's like a new breed of bands coming through, like, you know, your Radioheads and, you know, Tool and things like that, right?
Want to make a statement, right?
Yeah, you know, you want to make a statement. You know, the three of us, we got to be able to sleep at night, you know.
Sure.
And
I think we're just serious about our music, and sometimes people just can't accept being serious about anything. You know, and we enjoy it more than anything, but we're just very serious about it. It's like a painter or someone who's, you know, becoming a doctor. You're very serious at things you love to do.
Yeah, there was a certain stigma attached to the Tea Party because we were perceived as being somewhat standoffish, you know, and you know, and all those things that we said before, the negative connotations towards the band. And to a certain extent it was true, but we were just very, you know, we didn't really know how to, you know, do the whole schmooze thing, the socializing, you know, that type of vibe. It's not really about us, you know? And but I think just over the years, like, people got beyond, you know, the veil and got to know us as people. And you know, I think I'm led to believe there's a genuine respect, you know, for the band now and what we do. But that took some time. But you know, we wouldn't lose sleep over it if it wasn't in this matter.
Restrained desire, I want what I need, shaking as the sex takes hold. I've lost all control. Drowning in a sea of rage, I taste the embrace, helpless as it steals my soul. I've lost all control.
It's all atmosphere, you know. I mean, that's my one complaint with, you know, most rock shows now is you just don't get any diversity in the emotional flow anymore. You know, it's like they just come out banging and that's it. And I really want sensuality in music, you know, no matter what type of music I'm listening to. And that's the type of concert we try to deliver.
Your soul shakes free as each conscience is the ground. You surrender to love under will. Rest assured, babies, you're adored. And it feels like just like heaven's coming down.
Of course, such a deep friendship, you know, and the things that we've had to endure together. I mean, there was some really dark times for the band around the transmission period, you know, and we've always had to, like, fight and claw and, you know, just go into battle for everything that we've achieved. I mean, nothing has been handed to us, you know. Success hasn't come easy for the band, and because we've just, you know, we were always very headstrong about we needed to keep our integrity and you know, focus on, you know, a very passionate type of music, something coming from the heart. And you know, the rewards are great when you stick to your intentions like that.
And there's no songwriters, there's no outside production. What you hear is exactly what we want you to hear. And a lot of people don't realize that today when they buy a record, all the people behind the scenes, they were involved. And, the face that you see on the album cover really didn't have a lot to do with it. So.
Helpless as it steals my soul, I lost all control. It never lets me down. One foot in the ground. We exist in a world where the fear of illusion is real. And we cling to the past to deny and confuse the ideal. Once inside, we conceive and believe in a God we can't feel. I can't feel it. I can't feel it. I can't feel it. Tested my fate so cruel. I tell you I'm drugged as you delight. I'm laughing as these lies unfold, and I'm lost all control. Temptation, temptation.
In Transmission, I've noticed that your lyrics are more maybe first-person narrative rather than in your previous albums. And I was wondering if that's because these lyrics are more meaningful to you, if they're more personal.
Yeah, sure they are, because you got to figure, like, when we started and we came out of Windsor, I'd spent my whole life in Windsor up until I was 19, 20 years old. And I had no really life experiences. I hadn't traveled around the world yet. I hadn't really had a lot of meaningful things happen to me. And the thing was, as the band went on, and we, as I said before, we were fortunate enough to start touring and going on, and all these experiences began to happen. It's funny, like, I feel that artists have a responsibility at getting at that infinite background of emotion, distilling it into something that's perceivable for their audience, for the public. So it's like kind of a responsibility being in this fortunate position to be able to offer up opinions to the audience, and then they can discern for themselves what they think,
Transmission, when it first came out, everyone was talking about how, because at the heart, a rock and roll band is what Tea Party is, but how they were mixing the organic qualities with the technological influences and stuff like that. But I have to wonder about a spiritual evolution within the band, as well as a sound, I think a spiritual evolution. Because the album starts off with Temptation, there's a reference to stealing souls. The album on the whole, I think, is dark, apocalyptic, intense. But yet it ends with Aftermath, and there's a reference in there to glimpses of hope exist.
I'm a firm believer in the fact that I think artists, no matter what medium you're working in, right, you've got to come from an honest place. And at the time, the musical landscape that the band, like, we created, I had to back up lyrically with personal experiences, let's say personal philosophies that I'm still developing as a human becoming, right? And I had to come from an honest place. And I was coming from not so much a place of being very cynical, but I was questioning a lot of things, I'm very interested in a lot of you know, I guess what people would call like occult philosophies or whatever the case. I mean, I'm searching, you know, in my Siddhartha mode right now, you know, so.
The Glimpses of Hope reference is a pretty positive thing, so I have to ask at this point, is the band happy? Are you guys happy?
I think we are now. As we're heading into the next record, we're not faced with the same problems we had going into Transmission. So as a result, it's showing itself in the music. Like without the lyrics even being written, there's you know, just a positive outlook, I guess. So it's good. There's growth there. So.
Fans scare you, some of them? Maybe not scare you, but do you, some of them get into it on a whole other level.
Well, it's a double-edged sword because, like you were saying earlier, we expect so much of our fans, and our fans have to be a certain type of person and a certain type of listener. And sometimes it goes so much to the left that that person is so, you know, they listen a little too much. They go inside of Jeff Martin's head or try to go inside of Jeff Martin's head.
It's a scary neighborhood, though.
Seriously, yeah. We get some pretty
What do you mean by that,
letters.
That's a dark neighborhood in there.
Ain't no streetlights in that head.
Ain't no streetlights. It's all gas lamps. With some of the lyrical content, you know, that I've put down, you know, my life is pretty much an open book. I have to come from personal experiences, and sometimes those experiences are, you know, not the prettiest. Right? You know, songs like "Temptation" or "Release."
I want you to be free. I want you to be free from me.
do that type of blatant honesty in a song, it's, of course, like, people are going to be able to relate to it so intensely. And then sometimes the lines of where someone's private life starts, you know, and the public persona ends, you know, that gets a little blurred. And so that's happened a few times.
I want you to be free from me.
That song means so much to me, you know, as far as my personal life is concerned, and also on a more macrocosmic level. That song was inspired by something I saw, I think, on CNN. It was a report on the condition of women's rights in the world. It went through like the fundamental Islamic movement in the Middle East and how women are basically below dogs. And also what's going on in Africa and some countries with, you know, the genitalia mutilation. In North America, domestic violence is on the rise, and it's just all like crazy. It's crazy stuff. Like we're destroying the better half of the species.
You need to be released. Don't wanna hurt you.
It surprises me that in this day and age it's still needed. Something like what the organizers are doing with the White Ribbon Campaign.
That's the travesty, you know, of it all. It's just, well, for those of you out there who don't know what the White Ribbon Campaign is, it's men against violence towards women. And like you said, Bill, you know, it's just, it's insane that, you know, in this quote-unquote, you know, enlightened age that we all are pretending we're living in, you know. Domestic violence is as bad as it's ever been, you know, and it starts young, you know. It's a bad seed, you know, that happens, and so what this organization is trying to do is, you know, with the schools, you know, kind of hitting the problem at its roots, getting to younger minds, and you know, it's kind of like a reconditioning, because you know, the ladies out there are the better half of the species, so you know, this all has to stop.
Well, this is our last embrace. Must I dream always see your face? Why can't we overcome this war?
I was asked to do this concert that's now, you know, happened a few times, and it's great, you know, getting all the big male egos together on one stage, you know, all the rock singers. And it's really good to see, you know, hearts in the right place and getting some money raised towards that situation, you know.
It's nice to sort of lend your name or work to a charity or benefit, but the payoff is to see some kind of result.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of a better word, it's not going to change overnight.
No, it's not.
But have you seen...
Well, they've grown tremendously. They're on 4 continents now, in something like 40 countries. This Canadian charity that started a few years ago, an office on Bloor Street, like every single $1,000 that they raise, it means they get to, I think, maybe 6 or 7 more high schools in terms of informing kids. So it's a big difference.
You know, like when a 17-year-old guy comes up to me, you know, and says, "Hey, man, I think it's really cool what you're doing with the White Ribbon thing. You know, I'd never heard of it, but now I have," and you know, things like that. That type of acknowledgement. Well, there's the, you know, the beginnings of the results that, you know, you're looking for.
I want you to be free. I want you to be free from me.
There's a type of person that just wants levity of music. They want music just to be like, you know, in the background type of thing, right? You know, don't really have to think about it too much, please, right? And you know, that's understandable, and there's much music out there, you know, for that type of person or that type of disposition. But I mean, you know, with us, there's always going to be that intensity, and it's going to be you know, somewhat of an attack, you know, always, whether it's gentle in its purpose or not. You know, there is that weight, you know, to the music, and some people just don't have the time. I think that's really what it is.
Yeah. It caters to a specific listener, and it's not, you know, the elevator music style listener.
Yeah, we're going for a headphone listener.
I like their music. They're pretty original.
I think they're really original in their music, and they do a lot of things that no other band does out there.
Incredible. You have to see Tea Party.
But this is my 8th time seeing the Tea Party, and they rock. You know when you like hear something really good and it just sends like shivers up and down your spine? That's what I get when I listen to them. They're so deep.
I love their lyrics, actually. They go so deep, they're almost like mystical.
It's put together with more thought than a lot many other bands. They actually have something to say. They read, obviously they read a lot, and they have something in mind that they want to talk about.
We're not asking for a lot. I mean, it's only going to be there for the people who really are into music. It's people like yourself who likes all genres of music, but intensely, and different styles and whatever you're very much into. So it's asking a lot, but it's like a movie buff who will only watch, you know, French subtitled films or something. Like they want art.
We just want to get our music to as many people as possible without having to compromise our integrity.
Right.
You know, and so far in our career, we really haven't had to do that.
I just think that the guy from the Tea Party is sexy. I love the Tea Party. I love the Tea Party.
I seen them 6 months ago when they came out, man, twice.
They're the best.
I'm here to see them. I'm here to go off.
Silence a minute of pool of dreams. 8 big steps to garden streams. Of the city of the evening star. The honest walls of grand bazaar.
The export mentality that you guys have developed over the years, it's something that you want to do, take your music to you know, as much of the world as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But did it surprise even you when it started to happen in Western Europe, in Australia?
Yeah, it surprised me the velocity, you know, which it happened. Yeah, I mean, especially in Australia, it was like a wildfire. We were the second coming, and we would go on stage and do our thing. You know, 9 times out of 10, steal the crowd. And it was just, and the word just spread, like from Sydney, you know, out, and, you know, to a point now where, you know, 8 or 9 years later, we go to Australia and it's, you know, 6,000 people a night.
Is there commonality between the regions that you do well in? Is there something that...
They're all intelligent. That's why we don't do well in America.
God, what's it with you?
Please edit that.
I think they're more fans. They're fans of the live music scene, and they're not, you know, lured by the pop culture of the whole entertainment presentation that you're getting in America, perhaps. Like Stuart made a statement the other day about American jazz musicians, how it became so well known for them to go over to Europe and how much they appreciated it so much more playing there than in America, because when you're in Germany, as same for us, when you're playing and the song's done, you'll get this outburst of cheers and claps and then dead silence, as almost as if you're in a piano recital, and then you start up again and they're just right into it compared to an American crowd, quote unquote. That would be there for you know, if you happen to play your hit first in the song, as opposed to waiting until the encore to do it, half the crowd would disperse.
Another thing with Australia, like they're very open to new music, like bands like Jeff Buckley, Massive Attack, even going back to bands like The Cult. They all broke in Australia before they broke around the world.
What's inside we can see, believe in a God who can't feel, can't feel it, can't feel it.
For better or for worse, we were very headstrong from the beginning. And, you know, now we're sitting in a very, I wouldn't say it's a comfortable place, but it's certainly, artistically, it's very gratifying, it's very satisfying, you know, where we're at now, because all of the tools and the tools that we've accumulated and the tangents that we've explored, you know, now we're at a place in our career where the music's just going to get that much more intense, you know, because we have to one-up ourselves every time.
And I'm walking wounded, all alone, and baby I'm not that strong. And I'm walking wounded,
This record marks the end of something or the beginning of something? Tangents.
Both. You know, one door closes, another one opens. Yeah. And yeah, Tangents is just for us. It's because you can't call it a greatest hit, you know, because I mean, they're not hits, but they are songs now that you know, everyone who knows this band, and even if you just have sort of a, you know, a semblance, a knowing of it, these songs have somehow transcended, you know, through the psyche of, you know, many music listeners. And for us, I think these songs represent, you know, some of the most powerful moments that we've had on our different records, you know, to the extent that most of these songs we still play live. You know, and if we didn't, there'd probably be, as far as the hardcore fans are concerned, a little bit of a revolt. You know? So the shows will have to keep getting longer and longer and longer. But yeah, it was a kind of a reaffirmation of where we're at, everything we've done, and just so we could all realize, both the band and our fans, you know, where it's all about to go. I think Walking Wounded, as the brand new song, is a very good indication of how the scope of the music is going to, you know, be effective.
And all that's been between, is it gone? Tell me what went wrong, 'cause baby, I'm not that strong. And I'm walking wounded, all alone.
We're definitely learning our roles more and more, and the roles are getting more vague. You know, there was a time where, you know, it's like I was the singer and the producer, and you know, don't even think about coming there. And Jeff's the drummer, but now we're all just sort of. I think that now that we're so confident in what we do and free, that we're really listening to each other a lot more now, you know, encouraging each other to do and to grow and go beyond what would be our normal, you know, capabilities.
In 10 years, you've seen trends come and go. You've seen bands come and go. Does it surprise you that you're still here then?
It's surprising. When you start in a band and you're in a band like the Tea Party, you don't know if people are going to accept you. I mean, we knew that there were people that would enjoy our style of music, but you can't take it for granted that they're going to understand it and you know, go with you through all of these, you know, trends and ups and downs and everything. So it is a bit surprising to me anyway.
And, you know, it is something that we just don't take for granted at all. I mean, but I'm a firm believer, I think, as long as this band puts out records, you know, of integrity, you know, there's always going to be that audience that's going to grow more and more and more, you know.